Welcome back to Enlightened Trading. I'm your host Conrad, and today we have another look at the stock market. So in today's video I'm going to show you on the S&P 500, gold, silver, and maybe even some stocks. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so as you can see, we are here at the S&P 500 index, and what I drew a few days ago is still what I think at least is likely to play out. We still are being rejected here at resistance, but actually we are going sideways currently with very low trading volume here on the last few days, at least compared to what we experienced the weeks before. We are seeing some small price action here going sideways, but this, as you can see, if we look a bit closer, is actually pretty bullish. We have sort of an Adam and Eve pattern where we have a strong wick to the downside, and then again a sharp recovery with a small consolidation phase going a bit rounding. So this is usually a bullish pattern, of course, and sees continuation to the upside, especially if we consolidate that long and touch this trend line here at the top that many times. It usually breaks to the upside, so that is what I would expect now in the near-term future. Of course, there's still the possibility that we see this retrace with a daily higher low forming, and again a retrace to this horizontal resistance area at 3,233 at the S&P 500 index at the SPX. This is what I would now look for. So I'm still bullish in this market, especially if or at least the money printing seemed to work out very nicely. So this is also what I would now expect to see further prices climb higher, or further higher prices and price action to climb higher, basically. And this is not only solely for the SPX, but as well, of course, if you look at the S&P 500 USD, very similar, but I mean basically the same, of course. Looking here at the broad term time frame, we are still very nicely consolidating sideways with a higher move up. And yeah, you can see also in the daily that we are forming currently some inside bars and just broke out on Friday. So pretty bullish overall. Pretty important what happens in the next week. Not unlikely that we actually move higher, maybe even today on Monday. I'm going to cover this, maybe even tomorrow. I have to wait and see, but still looking pretty strong here overall. And yeah, as I said, I would expect prices to climb higher the next week, and maybe even find a retrace down to 3,400 for another retest of resistance, and maybe then a stronger rejection down to 2,900, but that is still in play, and yeah, we have to wait and see, definitely. Okay, so I mean the indices overall are doing very similar things, of course. Dow Jones not as strong as the S&P, actually not really any index besides the Nasdaq is as strong, and the Nasdaq actually topped here on the 9 sell, very interesting, and it's now consolidating sideways. I'm not currently expecting too much downward price action again in the next week here on the Nasdaq, since the S&P is looking that strong. This was just a very nice selling area, also 9 sell here on the hourly, so a very nice trading opportunity here, going from 11k down to 10.4k. So there was a nice trading opportunity here at the Nasdaq. So taking a look at gold, going to the daily, and gold looking still very strong here, again moving higher. And I'm actually going to do like that. So gold is still moving higher, going along this trend line here. If I correct it a little bit, still going along this trend line. It is still pretty extended. I would still expect a move down to correct this. I don't think it will be of strong significance regarding its trend. I still think gold will maintain its bullish uptrend in the intermediate phase. I still think this will move to all-time highs, of course, as well. It already did on many other pairs, not only the gold USD. If you look for example at gold euro or other pairs with gold and national currency, you will see that these actually already are at all-time highs. That is pretty interesting from that regard. And yeah, as you can see, we are currently at major resistance and actually going above it. Looking at the structure, you can see we have 3 touches here around $1,800. If I just pull the horizontal trend line right here. So yeah, and we are actually moving above it here on gold, so this is actually pretty bullish. As I said, I would still expect to move down, but I don't think this rising wedge is that important. Actually, you can see we broke above it and just consolidated a little bit here over a week or two, going sideways, and it's actually pretty bullish that we did not yet fall below it. And this is also what I would now expect for this coming week, that we actually maintain this bullish uptrend and maybe even disregard this rising wedge here on the daily time frame. So yeah, there is still a lot of upside for gold. And looking at the sequential on the weekly, there is no sign of retracement yet here on gold. So yeah, my next target would now be over the next few weeks, maybe even a retrace. But until then, I would expect gold to move to 1,924 on gold USD, and after that, of course, and a pretty strong rejection, I would expect gold to go to all-time highs, maybe a retrace down to 1,700, maybe even only just to 1,800, maybe a bit stronger. It very much depends on how prices move. Okay, so looking here at silver, and silver looking pretty strong in this recovery. Of course, if you compare it to gold, it's not even near its all-time high. It's actually one of the most bearish things to mention for silver, that it's so far beyond its all-time high that it is hard for silver to recover fully. And as you can see, we are currently sitting at resistance. We almost are at my horizontal level. If I just pull it up like that, you can see we are almost at 19,666. Pretty interesting, this level. But yeah, this would be my target. As you can see, it was resistance. I would expect it again to be, and maybe even if this experiences rejection, then maybe we will just retrace down to a 1876.8-ish here on silver. To, if I just draw it quickly, to move up again, come back down to this area, consolidate sideways, maybe form an ascending triangle, and then break out and go over 19,666, and the next target would be $20 approximately here on silver. Yeah, and what will happen after that? Well, of course, that is still to be waited for. What happens to precious metals? Of course, it's pretty correlated to the stock market, but pretty much everything is correlated to the stock market currently, especially on the S&P 500. At least in my opinion, that is what we're currently seeing. So, in just taking a quick look at some of these major stocks, Tesla finding a high on almost at a 9 sell here, so you have to watch out for Tesla to maybe break down, but I would not expect it currently. but I would still see higher prices until we get to 2000. Then I would look out for any longs. I would very much stay away from longs. I would go short, maybe even at around 2000, but that is still to wait for. And of course, these are all looking pretty similar. But what is interesting is, of course, is that we had these 9 sells coming in here on Amazon, calling for downside, and not on Tesla, but as well on Apple we had the 9 sells. On Google, similar, not quite. Facebook, not okay. So on some of these stocks we had some sells coming in, but still, yeah. And of course, what I wanted to mention is Uber experiencing an inverse head and shoulders. I can quickly draw it for you. Maybe in taking the pattern. So there it is, with its left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. Looking pretty nice currently. So this could go, as I said, above its high, of course, last swing high, and to $40. This would be the approximate target currently. Of course, this trend line is to be looked out for, but after that I would look out for $41.70 for my next target here on Uber. Okay, and I think that's it for today's video. Thank you very much, of course, for staying tuned and watching until the end. Of course, make sure you like the video down below, and you subscribe to my YouTube channel. It very much helps me out, of course, and appreciate it very much. Okay, so just in the end, make sure you, of course, you follow me here at my Instagram page for some funny content and some memes. Okay, that's it, and I'll see you guys and you also people back next time. Bye.